Can you tell us what happened here today?
Well, the police came down heavy-handed at 4 o'clock this morning, half 3, 4 o'clock this morning. They told the lads 30 seconds to get out or they're going to get squashed in the place with it. So the lads gathered up their stuff, they moved out of the way, and they came in and destroyed the place. What did they think was going to happen here when they done this? They were told.
When you're saying the lads, do you mean protesters from the area?
Protesters, yeah, local protesters like myself. We've been here nearly 3.5 months. You know what I mean? We don't want it here. We don't want undocumented male migrants here. We don't want them. The community is bad enough as it is. And these know this. These know this already. You know what I mean? Their job is going to be harder. They're going to have to police it. You know what I mean? It's going to come back to the thing where we're going to have our own gangs walking around the place, police the place. And that's the way it's going to be. This is only the start of it here now.
And there was some footage of, clashes with the Gardaí. Was anybody injured?
No injuries. They started it. We'll finish it.
And you're determined to stay here?
100%. We're going nowhere. We're going nowhere. Absolutely nowhere.
You're a local resident here, I understand. What have you seen today?
What I've seen today is that they were bringing migrants into Crown Paint Factory. We've not been told anything, any of the neighbours, but there you go. That's the government for you, isn't it?
And do you know how many are being brought in, or if they're single males, or if they're families?
They're all single males. That will hold a few thousand people in there, so we don't know exactly how many. But the government, they're not straight with you, are they? They won't be honest with us. They won't connect with us. I've reached out to a couple of politicians. They won't come back to us. So again, it's just the government again, isn't it? Just throwing us. Government just won't play ball with us. They don't really care about us. They set us up all the time, and all we're there for is just to earn money. They take our taxes and just treat us bad.
And over the past, I suppose, 2 years or even more at this stage, these kind of protests have been labelled far-right and racist by many in government as well as the media. What do you say to those accusations?
Well, to be honest with you, they can sling names all they want. Doesn't bother me. What they're doing is wrong. What the government are doing is 100% wrong. They are just stitching the Irish people up, and they don't support us. Coolock is a rundown area as it is. There's nothing for the kids. Absolutely nothing for the kids.
The reality of it is the government are ignoring people. So, what do they expect is going to happen if they keep ignoring people? Helen McEntee promised people she would engage with communities in relation to these centres being put up, but there's clearly been no engagement. You have councillors from up here, the guy in council in Finglas and Ballybun out here to see what's going on. This is happening. Why is it always the working class areas, Fatima? At the end of the day, the government spent an awful lot of money to put up barriers, to move them from the city centre, to move them from D4. They put up in Phoenix Park, they were there for an hour or two and then they moved them from there. But they're more than happy to force them into the demographically working class areas that cannot and do not have the resources to facilitate these illegal men. Obviously we don't want to see these things happening in communities. This is just, but are the government, in my opinion, looking for civil unrest in Ireland? Because they're not listening to the people. They're not listening to their views and what they're saying. They've said no. They don't want these men in their communities because they're worried about their children and they're worried about safety. And yet there's no engagement from the government or the opposition. The opposition and the Dáil are just the same. They don't say anything. They're supposed to be in opposition and listening to their communities. You heard Mary Lou McDonald saying the other day, we're going to start listening to our people now about immigration. But has she? No. Why is she only saying that now? She hasn't done anything about it. What do you expect is going to happen if you don't listen to communities? People in Ireland and Dublin and all don't want to see anything like this happening. But once again, I reiterate, if you don't listen to communities of what they're saying to you and you keep ignoring them and you're not listening and you're just forcing these things on them, what do you expect is going to happen? What do the government expect is going to happen? People are not going to. You can't. It's just like if you don't give my son or daughter food and they're starving and I've no money to feed them, I'm going to find a way to feed them. That's the reality of it. They should be listening to communities, engaging with them, but they're not. And this is the proof of the pudding. McEntee promised she was going to engage with the communities, and there hasn't been any engagement here. They're not listening to them. They're not coming up and meeting them. So in the end, what do you expect? It's wrong and it's not the right thing. But what do you expect is going to happen?